Hey guys, this is Bharadwaj with PhoneArena.com and this is the HTC Desire 816 that we recently unboxed. So this phablet device is priced at 23,990 and curiously it comes with a 13 megapixel camera which is a higher megapixel count than the HTC One M8, the flagship device with just a 4MP ultra pixel camera. This is a normal 13 megapixel camera with a f2.2 aperture lens, and this video is going to be about the review of this particular camera. So how is it, how does it perform, and what are the UI features like? That's what we're going to see in the camera review of the HTC Desire 816. So in terms of camera specifications, as we already mentioned, this has a 13 megapixel camera unit. But HTC has not made it clear whether it is from Sony or Omnivision or any other vendor. It is just a 13 megapixel unit with a f2.2 aperture lens and has a single LED flash down below. We are speculating that it may be a 1.3 inch type 13 megapixel unit because it's pretty common already in most of the smartphones. So anyway, moving to the front, you can see that the device is actually running the flavor of Sense that is same as on the HTC One M8. Yes, this is the Sense 6 operating system, and so the camera UI is very similar. As you can see, the controls are exactly the same as the HTC One M8. You can see that you have the thumbnail for the gallery, you have the shutter button which takes photos in an instant and just pops up the gallery icon, and then you have the mode switcher which are only three in the place of six on the HTC One M8. So we have just the camera, the video and the selfie mode. And also interesting to see that the front facing camera can be switched just by doing a swipe gesture like that. So that's the front facing camera, the 5 megapixel unit on the front. It's actually pretty good and not exactly the same quality as the HTC One M8, but it's actually pretty good. Now moving to the rear camera again, you can see that all the other settings are under this menu. So these are the modes. You have the auto mode, you have the other modes like for example the night mode, the HDR, and you have the sweep panorama, you have the image stabilization. So it's pretty buggy, this camera UI. You have some the focus issues and all that. So you have some kind of bugs that usually happen, but that should be fixed in the software later. So you have several other modes that you can very well relate with in point and shoots. So you have ISO options up to 1600, EV exposure compensation, you have the custom white balance, you have filters as usual. You have multiple filters, but you can wish to choose whichever you want. And in the in-depth settings you can see that there are various adjustments and all the other usual camera specific adjustments that you have. For example, you have the resolution, you have the image adjustments, you have the crop, which I'll show again, which is wide, regular or even square. So you also have the resolution here, which clearly has the 16:9 as it is selected. And then you have the storage options, the camera options, like for example touch to capture and all that. And you can also have the volume button to be configured for capture or zoom. So anyway, that's the in-depth settings and all the other settings on the camera UI. Now let's talk about the camera performance. That's the most important aspect of this video. We, as usual, shot several photos in several conditions. So let's start with the normal photos that usually take, like for example in broad daylight. So here are the samples. Well, as you saw from those samples, the daylight images were pretty decent. If you ask us, because the sensor is too small, there are overblown highlights in all the daylight images we could see. So that could be the only thing, but that was quickly rectified by one other mode, and that is HDR. So here are some HDR samples, two HDR samples, one without and one with, one in outdoors and one in indoors. You can see how much of a difference it makes. Well, as you saw from those samples, the HDR actually works pretty well on the Desire 816, and this is more of a thing related to HTC than the camera unit, because HTC software is pretty good for HDR, as we have seen with the One M8 and all the other phones, and the 816 is no exception. It's pretty good in terms of HDR, but again, the overblown highlights in the normal mode are a bit of a deterring factor if you ask us. That's mainly due to the really small size of the sensor. Now moving on to macro shots. Macro is pretty much easy for any smartphone, but it brings out the beautiful details, and the 100% details of those shots really tell the actual characteristics of the sensor. So here are some macro shots that you can take a look. Well, there, as you saw, the macro shots have come out really well, and even indoor macro shots have come out really well. You can see that currently I'm having two specific objects in my scene, and you can see that the detail is actually pretty good. Even though it's indoors and practically less lighting than the usual, it is not really bright. The camera shows it that way, but still it's pretty good. So macro shots are really nice, and we think the Desire 816 has really nice capabilities in terms of details. So details wise, even in the daylight shots, as you saw, the camera doesn't lose out. This is a kind of an advantage when it comes to comparing the 4MP ultra pixel camera. Now moving on to low light, the camera as expected does not perform adequately well. It's full of noise. Even indoors you can see a bit of noise in the photos, but the details are still there, but there is a bit of noise. So anyway, take a look at some of the samples that we took earlier. So as you saw, the low light performance is not that great, and definitely the overall thing we are seeing here is that the 13 megapixel camera, even though higher in resolution, is not exactly the best when it comes to being a camera. Like, for example, it does not compare with the 1M8 if you're thinking, better megapixels is equal to better performance. No, it is not, because the HTC One M8 has better optics, a bigger sensor, bigger pixel size and all that. So we have seen and we have compared that the 1M8 has better clarity, at least, even though the post-processing is a bit fidgety in all HTC phones generally. So there you go, that's our verdict in terms of stills. Daylight, yes, but some of the overblown highlights are kind of deterring. And then you have great macro shots. Details are absolutely great, not as fidgety as the 1M8's 4MP ultra pixel camera, but low light, yes, it lags behind all the other phones. But in terms of price, in 23,990, that's the segment, the 20K to 25K segment, this is really one of the better cameras out there. It could rival the Grand 2. The Grand 2 had a great 8 megapixel camera. It can easily rival the 1320 and also the T2 Dual. So expect some camera comparisons relating to the 816 on the YouTube channel. You'll see that. Now let's move on to video. This phone can record 1080p video at 30 FPS. You can see some of the options here showing the video modes, quality and all that. So yes, full HD 1080, that's the mode.
Hey guys, welcome to Phonoliners YouTube channel. This is the video sample from HTC Desire 816.
The video is pretty good. It's not exactly great or mind-blowing, but it's pretty good. It produces decent videos with very good details and audio. So overall, if you ask us, the camera is very good for the price. For the price bracket of 20 to 25K, stills and video is pretty good on the Desire 816. But also you can check out the complete full resolution samples in the links below, will be in the description. You can check the link. So check out the camera samples in full resolution, and also let us know what you think in the comment section below. Are you satisfied with the camera results, and do you want to see anything else? Let us know and we might be able to help. So that's it for the camera review of the HTC Desire 816. Again, do let us know what you think in the comment section below. Do hit the like button if you like this video and subscribe to our channel for more videos like these.